In this video, we're going to continue to talk about 3D modeling in 3ds Max using curves and using 2D graphics. And we're going to see what are the most important tools for curves modeling, modeling using curves and NURBS. NURBS modeling, it's really similar to what we're going to see. So basically it starts with 2D shapes and then you can extrude, which is the simplest modeling tool that you can use. And you can also use other tools that we're gonna see. So we talked about how to extrude and create 3D models out of architectural drawings, out of industrial design drawings and blueprints, and also how we can use reference images to, in this case, we did an example with architecture, but can be used for many different reasons. And we also extruded here some of the profiles that can be helpful for architecture. So we saw the first part dedicated to graphic design, then we moved into architecture. And now we're gonna see these other tools here. So we saw how we can generate, we can use 2D curves to generate tubular shapes or pipes, and so create the structure, for example, of a chair, which could be like a modern design chair. And also how we can, again, use a source and a line to model different types of examples. Now this is also how you can do a sweep. This is similar to a sweep. So when you do the sweep, this is going to be our first tool that we're going to see. You're basically extruding a shape along a path. So when you use the pipe, the rendering tool to create the pipe, or you can switch to the rectangle, you're just doing a sweep. So we're gonna see how we can work with that. We can sweep things in our scene. Now, just to see some other shape here, I'm gonna create an ellipse. So we are also exploring the 2D shapes that we find here in Cinema 4D. And another really important one is Lathe or Lathe, or basically rotating a profile along a circular path. So it's always about choosing a profile and choosing a path. When you do an extrusion, the path is straight. When you do a sweep, it's along a more complex path. When you do the lathe or revolve, it's going to be rotated around an axis. And then we have another one, which is the loft. The loft, it's in the compound object. So we need to create more profiles. So when you use a loft, you're still gonna have a path, but not only one profile, but you can add more than one profile, and you can create a lot of different shapes by mixing profiles. So I'm creating a star here and just rounding the peaks so that I can create kind of a bottle tap with this. So this is probably the easiest example you can do. And I will also align these two with the align tools so they can be exactly centered. They share the same center. So I have two shapes. Only if I have two shapes and a path, I can create a loft. So I'm gonna select both, or I can just select the first one here. Well, actually, let's create a path before we go into the loft. So to do the path, I'm gonna go here in the side view and create just a standard line. So the path could be something linear and simple, like a simple line. It could be like something more complex with curves and other things. So in this case, I just want to do a simple line using the 2D snap to the grid that we studied before. And you can place these also far or near, doesn't matter. So this will be the path that we're gonna use to use these two profiles and create the loft. So I'm gonna go in the compound objects. This is where the loft is found, while the sweep and the lathe will be in the modifier. So I'm gonna click loft, and I will get the path for my loft, which is gonna be that line, or either I get the shape. So I can either choose a path or I can choose a shape. Now you can see that this is just a simple extrusion at the moment, because in my path I only have one shape. So the trick here is to select different shapes in a different position for the path. So if I change the position of the path, so now it's at 0 now, so it's the bottom, and I set this to be 100, so it's going to be like at the top, and now I will get the shape and I will click on the other shape, and there it is. So it's just upside down, so depends how you create the path. That's going to give the direction to the path that you're using. There you go. So this is kind of a battle top, real quick, real easy, that you can do. Then we're gonna see more complex things like creating a pillar or creating a beam or column, an ancient column. You can create really anything with the Loft tool, but you need to have in mind precise what you want to do and which will be the profiles, the sections that are gonna represent your object. Now I'm just scaling this circle. You can see I can access with the modifier panel, I can access the operands and I can change them. So these are the most important tools, 3D modeling tools, and you can find these in any software, and will be extrude, sweep, loft, and lathe, or revolve. It's always called revolve or revolution sometimes, because it's a circular movement around an axis or a profile. So it's all about profiles and paths again. And again, this is really similar to what you find in NURBS modeling. For example, in Rhino 3D, which is a NURBS modeling tool, we find a lot of these tools here, and similar, like you have also 2-rail sweep, 1-rail sweep, and a lot of other tools that can convert simple curves into complex 3D surfaces, 3D shapes, and then you can also create solids out of those surfaces. So NURBS, it's kind of more for industrial design, and when you would need to create really curvy objects like cars, or industrial design objects like shoes and so on. So if you're interested, you can check the Rhino video course in the channel, or write us for assistance or to make questions. You can also write suggestions in the comments. So I'm going to continue here with my curves, and you can see that I can also have NURBS curves here. And when I activate the NURBS curves, I have the point curve, which is a curve made of points that are inside that curve. And then I have a control vertices curve, which is made of points which are outside the curve. And the same exact curves you will find in Rhino 3D. So you can see here that if I go in the editable mode, in the edit mode, you can access the point, and in the standard curve, they're gonna be inside the curve. So I just move the point and change the aspect of the curve. And if I wanna create a surface, I can just go there and create a surface. So I have a point surface again, and a control vertices curve surface.